Maniro akanaka vana veZimbabwe. Something wrong with my phone. Sorry guys. Let me clean my screen a bit. Something is really wrong. Something is really wrong. We clean the screen. Clean the screen. Across the screen. I don't know. Sandrugona panapa. The genius. Sandru try to clean up panapa. Zirise. Magadi mazimba. Magadi yaiti mbokurukura shomanini. Sorry. Pana sandru clean up panapa. Right. Kutapinda nai. Patinongopinda munoziva kuti tongopinda atetalis magadi ngomainro zviri kufamba here. Munoziva tinongopinda tichingowaranura dhirihora kuita kuti zvityise nai. Anzi dhirihora iro vanogara dhirihora rembanje. As can I phone you after the show, but definitely you can phone. You can phone. And my boundaries. Anytime, phone me, we talk. Phone me and we talk. Dirihora iro, vano garamu dirihora rembanje. No garamu dirihora iro, vano garamu dirihora rembanje. Vano garam dirho vako mana vano garam dirho hora rembanje vano garam dirho musatambe navo vano garam dirhora rembanje no garam dirhora vako mana dirhora rembanje vano garam dirhora iro vano garam dirhora rembanje no garam dirhora vagomana dirhora rembanje vano garam vakomana vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam musatambe navo vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam iro vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam dirhora iro vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam vakomana vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam musatambe navo vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam dirhora vagomana dirhora rembanje vano garam ivo vakomana vano garam dirhora rembanje vano garam unobvonzwa kuti basa ratanga pane zvauda kuitika anditika anzi dirhora rembanje anzi vakomana vangara usatambe navo. Saka nyaya yatiri kutaura panapa nhasi inyaya gold mafia and money laundering. Part 2 makaiona. Every Zimbabwean saw the part 2 of gold laundering, of gold smuggling, gold mafia. And we saw the money laundering and so forth. So what I've understood, Anzi Mukoma Jirise compose and put instrument on Drora, then you hear that song in background on live shows. Definitely. Ndakambotaura namdhara blazangu dzezinori mdhara dzorowana mdhara namkanya. Zikati kana tikataura namkanya vakabvuma tinogona kukakwenya tokuitira woita background music. Thomas Mapfumo anzi vanogona kundiitira. Saka takangoperera ipapo kuti hatina zokurukura, but ndichazitry kudzifonera nditaure nadzo kuti ndotaura namkanya kuti mudhara ngoma itai aka tikaite background dirhora vakomana dirhora rembanje vanogara mudirho vakomana vanogara gogo vanatra. Thank you so much. 50 stars kata. Thank you gogo. Stanley Janero zviri kufamba ere mwana wamai. Anzi uyai tikurukure pane nyaya imi kana ukateerera part 2 the gold mafia then you are left without doubt that something wrong is there's really something wrong in our country. The whole country has been put in shambles. Really, something is really wrong. We are only targeting criminals around Robert Mugabe. Those were blue lies. We now know who the criminals are. We are targeting criminals around Mugabe. Vanhu vanga vasati vaziva kuti munyika mune macriminal. Saka macriminal chaiwo mazomaona. Zvaitaurwa naMudhara Mukanya naThomas Mapfumo kuti nyika iri kutongwa nemacriminals. Vanhu vachida kuramba chichi hanzi bambo munotamba here bareta next time ndoda kurono riri yellow. Mayellow berets kuno ari kunetsa hasi kuwanika. Ndosaka muri kuona ndakushandisa blue, black, kunoko mayellow berets hasi kuwanika. Someone akambotanzi mukoma Yuda ndichatenga ndokutumirai. So I thought someone was gonna make me a favor, but we couldn't. Nothing came. But anyway, pamwe ari kushayawo sekushaya kwandakaita yellow beret. Atete Constance Mangwiro zviri sei Edi Ndebele ngoma Sid hands have they made an official statement about part 2. Even part 1, they never made an official statement. They are in a shock. They're in a state of shock. What they are seeing, they don't believe what they are seeing. Unongovhunduka but unenge wachaiwa. Comrade anatsai kutsanangura vanhu vanzise vamwe vanovharwa nechirungu. Definitely ndozvandaona kuti vazhinji vari kunyanyovharwa. People are not seeing the seriousness of this document or the seriousness of the documentary on its own. People are undervaluing pane zviri kudona panapa. Ausi chaona zvadona. Mukoma Tawanda Juro zviri kufamba here. First of all, before I venture into what is money laundering, I want people to understand the concepts here. It's very simple. Jazeera yauya something. It's an investigative journalism. Yakaitwa Jazeera. Saka muri kuona kuti vanhu veZANU-PF, especially my journalists vanoziva journalism, they are trying to brush aside the type of investigation yakaitwa Jazeera. But hey, that is damaging. That documentary is damaging, really damaging. So I'm trying to sort my table out. The documentary is really damaging, but some people are underplaying it, especially beneficiaries of this gold mafia are underplaying the impact of the Jazeera documentary. And I think those Harare airport officials are in danger. They will disappear if they are not careful. Yeah, I'm going to touch that Mkoma Sidin. Singea, thank you so much. I'm going to touch about this issue about this Chidodo being a security manager. Professionally, I am a security risk and loss control or security manager. And my qualifications acho. Ndoda kutaura zvinhu zvine evidence. So that one mangwana karanda kutaura I'm a risk controller or I'm a security manager. Vanhu havazonyanyo vhunduka. So what I always want to do is show people the evidence that I have as a security manager. As a security manager, I'm a qualified security manager. I can even run Harare Airport. I can run the security at Harare Airport. I'm a qualified security manager. I want to show you my qualifications so that one was tambura. This is vanoziva Zimbabwe. Vanoziva Zimbabwe. Ichi machiziva kaichi. This is the Zimbabwe Institute of Management. Right, this is Zimbabwe Institute of Management. This is security. This is certificate in security management. It's written 𝗟𝗂𝗟𝗃. And signed by the board chairperson. I got a credit. This is my certificate in security management. Right? Ndabva pa security, pa certificate. Ndakabva nda advance. Ndobva ndaita diploma in security management. Rakanzi 𝗟𝗂𝗟𝗃. And ndimona rakanzi credit as well. Diploma in security management. Right. Ndapedza kuti diploma in security management. Ndobva ndaenda handina kumira. Ndakabva ndaita advanced diploma in security management. This is 𝗟𝗂𝗟𝗃. Then I got a credit. So I've got all 3 certificates. A qualification in security management that makes me qualified in what I'm going to say on this platform. Saka mugaona man ndairo criminal. These are some of my results. Some of my results. Criminal investigation, I've got a distinction. I've got a distinction here on criminal investigation. This is advanced diploma in security management. On criminal investigation, I've got a distinction. Akawanda mungambo mapedza ma results. Ma results shit andiri kupai. Ma distinction acho akawandisa. Aya ma results angu futa. Mukatarisa kuti pakanzi criminal psychology. Paganzi criminal psychology, I've got a distinction. Security management practice too, I've got a distinction. Kuti vanhu vanyatsona kuti chikoro chacho taichikwatura zvakaipa mukomayoda zvakamira sei ikoko. Let's not get excited about our Jazeera thing and forget to register to vote. This is what we are talking about, so that those people who didn't want to register to vote, they are nudged now by the Al Jazeera documentary to go and register to vote. This is advanced diploma, criminal investigation. I've got distinction. Here I've got some distinctions here. Criminal investigation and advanced diploma. I've got some distinctions. So these are my certificates, my qualifications as a security manager. Pakanzwana wakadzidza simkai. Pakanzwana wakaenda kuchikoro simkai. Ndosimuka. Hanzi ziti true angel adzingwa. George Charamba azviramba. Those are speculations, but my speculations are they are coming from Cross. I'm going to talk about it. Don't worry, Sika. We are going to touch a lot of things about that saga. My qualifications are a security management. I'm a security manager, a qualified security manager. Zokuti kana ndikangopuwa kambani, risk controller. I'm there. So I'm a qualified security manager. I wanted to give these credentials first before I start talking about security at airport. So I'm going to talk about security at airport. I think in terms of qualifications as a security manager, he must be my junior, because I qualified as a security manager probably 2008 ndo pandakapesera advanced diploma in security management, but andina kuzotsvaka basa in security management because ndakabva ndatiza Zimbabwe ndichiuya kuUK. Ndauya kuUK kune system yazvo yekuti unotsvaga zvinopa mari vanhu vari muuk vari kutsvaga zvinhu zvinopa immediate cash. Saka kana wakuita ma-qualifications ako, you look at the job market where United Kingdom is lacking in terms of skills. This is where people go. So I'm looking at security, airport security. It's shocking. It's shocking in terms of risk control. That airport security personnel, these are entrusted with the security of passengers. Our airport, mama kadi ngomaten zviri kufamba here tingaswera tichikwasana regai tipinde mundima. So airport security personnel, as far as I understand, in terms of security management, if you are part of the security or security management or part of the security strategy or part of the security airport, first thing that you are interested about is the security of passengers. Right. This is the first asset that is valued by any country. People vanhu havasi ndinoda kuzama kuti munhu akazvarwa akakura akafa atofa, saka hasi renewable. People are never renewable. You can't renew a human being. So this is the first valuable asset or the first valuable asset of a nation, its personnel. Ukaona workforce personnel, ndosaka wachiona vachiti every time vanonga vachirecruita vamwe vanonga vachembera vachifa vachibuda, chikura vachembera vachifa vachibuda, chikura vachembera vachifa vachibuda. You cannot, we are not renewable. A human being is not renewable. Once born, that's it. You will never be born again. And once you die, that's it. You will never see this world again. You are dead. Wafa. Right. So if you are looking at risk control, the first property you need to protect is a human being. Because no kune value ye company. If you don't protect a human being, awuna security ya kuita. Saka first thing, security or risk control is to not to let the person harmed, not to let the person killed, is to protect the security. If you are the security manager at an airport, your duty is to protect the security, or you are entrusted with the security of passengers. When we mean passengers, we mean even the crew. Vanokwira ndege vaya vanodrive ndege. You have to protect them. Secondly, chinchino protect our airport indege, because ndege is part of airport equipment, and it's part of airport equipment ndege yai. Saka you need to protect it. This is why Mark Zona kuchinzi a security manager, you work hand in hand with aviation security, because unofanwa also aviation security, they look at the security of the safety of the premises, safety of the, because my immigration officers vamonengo vachishandisa ma scanning material vachitase because they are national security agents inenge iripo, we mean ma CIO, because they are ma CIO vanenge aripo, that intelligence agents vanenge varipo pa airport, national army inenge iripo pa airport, Zimbabwe Republic Police inenge iripo pa airport, and the prison is not far from the airport. So you will find all arms of the defense forces are part of the Air Force, the airport security. So if you are a security manager, you liaise with all those departments uchipuwa intelligence yekuona kuti panda protection depapi, uchivabatsirawo kuti imimi dai matikavhirawo area yakati nearea yakati nearea yakati, uchiita ma-reports, boss, even ma-contingency reports, they should be there. In the case of a bomb scare, in case of this, in case of fire, in case of what do you look at if you are a security manager? So, Blaza anonzi chidodo. I don't think that by now, Anufano actually employed. I don't think so. That security officer or security manager, wepa airport, boss. I don't think he is supposed to be, as far as I'm talking by now, he's not supposed to be the security manager, because he can't secure or the environment of an airport. I'm going to look at things that I think are of security lapse, where mukamuteerera achitaura pavidhio anga achitaura zvekuti ane port yaanoshandisa otaura kuti bhegi iri haripinda harisikanwe rinongopinda chete mundege. Hanzi kana raakusvika pasikana rinoteneswa rine scanning yayo to face the other direction so that rinongopinda paya. Munhu anenge achikontrola ipapa bhe ipapa anonzi zvawaona siyana nazvo regard this passage parcel ipinde. But we are looking at a global threat today. Threats of terrorism are very high. In Malaysia, they lost a plane. Imagine the whole plane with the 200-something people aboard disappeared, and nobody knows where that plane went. Until today, the misery hasn't been solved. So, with that global threat, especially in terms of terrorism, we had September 11 in America, where 2 planes were hijacked and rammed into the Twin Towers. We are looking at security lapses. What are the impacts zachidodo in terms of telling people kuti bhegi harisechwe, bhegi hariskanwe, bhegi harito zvakati, regerai vanhu vapfuure, mabhegi achidhonzwa achibuda, without disabling security, airport security, which is airport is the most valuable installation in a country. If you have got an airport, you have to guard it jealously, because once the airport is invaded, or once the airport can a hub of corruption like what we've witnessed, Chidodo, they clearly stating in that document, it becomes a very difficult place. Then Zimbabwe on its own becomes a very, very difficult place, or the nation is at risk because of those corrupt officers. Those corrupt officers, ukatasa the Lockerbie bombing. Look at the Lockerbie bombing. Libya yakakonzeresa hondo, as a result yakakonzeresa kuti Gaddafi azosvika pakuurawa. It's because of the Lockerbie bombing, which was bombed in Scotland here. Munhu akapinda nebombu mundege rikanobhesa rasvika kuLockerbie kuScotland, vanhu vakapera kufa. The British, they didn't mince their words. They went straight for Libya. And for that matter, the guy Anangangari of an intelligence agent with Libya who bombed that plane in Lockerbie in Scotland. So the country has got no security. As far as I understand, if you look at what this Chidodo as a security manager of that company, myself being a security manager as well by qualification, I've looked a lot into her actions as security manager, because if you are the security manager, company ndosaka security manager kana pakaitika strike pa company, iwe haubvumirwe ku strike, because the company belongs to you. The owner of the company anenge achitotemba iwewe, because you are like a co-partner, or you are like the owner of that business. Owner anenge akagara kwakapeta maoko achimwadoro aita se, but iwe haurari haumwe doro, unenge uchistrategize kuti business rirambe richirana. Saka if you are security manager, you are the airport. If I am a security manager of an airport, I am the airport. Ndege zinomhara pandiri, vanobomba vakauya kada kubomba, vanobomba inini. And mona, saka I am the airport. I should guard the airport jealously. So if you look at the situation Chidodo himself has made Harare or Zimbabwe has made Zimbabwe to lack security. Hands brother you dawa buto really say that nasika sura kumoresana tingaswera chimoresana. Let's comment on what I'm saying here, because this is crucial for the government of Zimbabwe. Tag more people, tag even government officials, tag even vanamnanga gwawacho panapa vanzwe zvandiri kutaura kuti Zimbabwe as a nation, as a country, is at this juncture is exposed inyika isina security, considering kuti pa airport pacho paive ne state security yakaita senge state intelligence agents, but vakaregerera zvinhu zvandiri kutaura zvichiitika ukada kutarisa kuti dai ndakaenda ndine bomb, if I had a bomb, I can take a bomb ndoisa mubag. Ndaisa mubag ndotsvaga iye chidodo ndozati ari corrupt. Nomba $30,000 nomuti don't scan this bag. Bag rangu harichascanwa, ndopinda mundege nebomb. Andiona, kana ndinongopinda mundege bomb riya ndogara kumba, then ndakariseta out after 3 or 4 hours, bomb riya must explode. Andiona, saka chidodo anenge auraisa how many people? Waparadza equipment, waparadza ndege, wauraisa vanhu. Andimona, because of corruption, because of kukara, and you allowed zvinhu zviri insecurity kuti zvikwanise kuita pass through the Harare International Airport. So the country has no security. There is no security in our country, ladies and gentlemen. Clopas kudodo, blaz, kunyangodai nakandiri ndini, you will never be employed in that capacity the rest of your life. Unenge wakutochinja kuita truck driver kana kuita even kukupa truck kudriver, you are no longer a trusted person. Kana kukupa kuti enda unochengeta hove, madhamu ehove, tokuita security guard, you are going to fish dzese unopedza nekuba, because you are so corrupt, Clopas chidodo. So there is no security, ladies and gentlemen, muZimbabwe, pa airport pedu. I never thought one day in my life I might see such a confession from a person who is supposed to be looking at the security of a country. Once you are looking at the security of airport, you are looking at the security of a country. If the airport is not safe, then there is no security in that country. And in Mona. Saka Zimbabwe is not safe. There is no security in our country. So as much as they come in contact with and have to deal with a large number of persons, because if you are a security manager or that personnel, you deal with a large number of people. So every day, because imagine, ndege dziri kumara, dzimwe dziri kubuda, vanhu vari kuburuka, ndege yamara 1 asi bhazi ka ine 200 something vanhu, imwe iri kumara ine 300, imwe iri kumara ine 800. Amene mazibhazi aya mazihombe mandege aya anenge ane vanhu ameno. Every time, look at the volume of people passing through your checkpoints and the amount of equipment. Hadzisi vanhu chete vari kumara, kuri kumara macargo planes ari kuya neequipment. Unofanira kuziva zviri kuitika all around the environment. The airport environment is within your control. Mukoma Clopas chidodo. Saka, hey, there is no security per airport pedu. So this is why I am saying, if you are the security manager, you interact with your colleagues. Ndamunzwa achitaura kuti hanzi anditaure nako kampani kaanoshandisa kaka, kana ndikamona I don't even greet him. You see, what type of... It is a suspicious behavior. Even if I was an intelligence officer, seeing a manager where security, who doesn't talk to his security personnel, to me, it's something that... it's a red flag to me. But why? And imona. Saka, a premeditated behavior that people would know. Good, so can I criminal psychology? I think more than a distinction, but criminal psychology, you can tell my criminal movements, you can tell, you can see a criminal thinking. Munagamira pachifungwa zvekupara mhosva chete, munhu is a criminal. Ukada criminal psychology, you would understand what I'm talking. So if you are a security manager, you interact with the country's security forces, from the defense forces, from the police, prison, army, CIO, and everybody. Because you are the security manager, they must all work in coordination with you. So you interact with them, you interact with your colleagues babasa. But ukanzwa security manager ita hawo yantaure naye ndinongomsiya but echiziva kuti ndozomufonera tosangana mutown, toita tono kana tichinwa tongonwa toita zvatinenge tichiita vachishare their process. He is a bad security officer. So if you see what their output should seriously, what I'm saying here is that behavior it creates tension, it creates pressure, it creates conflicts and disputes, Pabasa. If you are a security manager, these are the things that you should know. Kuti ndikatanga kuita corruption pano, ndikatanga kuita zviri illegal pano, ndangopuwa ma 30,000 a month, goridhe richingopinda richikwira richienda kuDubai nekudzoka, I will create tension, because even within those gold smugglers, you create tension. Look at what happened when 𝗟𝘂𝗟𝗃 was arrested for possession of 6 kgs of gold. There was tension there, and she never thought that she would be arrested, because probably she had done it probably 10 or so times without being searched, without being arrested. But this time she was arrested. Already you've created tension between her and the other smugglers. And on kuda smuggler ningiwe ndiye anditengesa. That was a very dangerous situation that we have created. Apa unenge wakapuwa mari yekunzi tiri kubuda negoridhe musi wakati, Jehovah wabata goridhe rere. And Saka, it creates tension, it creates pressure on you as security manager. Already you are a conflicted someone, you was part of a dispute panam. You could say iribegi razobatwa, say iribegi rakapinda, say ningarainda akabudira ne gold. Remember, there is a guy mwakazonosungwa ne gold rajo ku South Africa and it. So ukaona zvakadaro zvichiitika, guys, wotoziva kuti nyika haisina security. Passengers would really thank or compliment, but are prone to complain, argue or talk back, because my passengers mamwe vachiona zvakadai so kana vachinzwa zvakadai so. Now patone issue yakaipa yekunoti vanhu vachacomplaina ipapa. Andimona. Saka, guys, pakaipa, but same, when you are presenting, you'll be smiling. This is how I was trained to be a security manager. This is how I was trained to be a security manager. If you are a security manager or a sales manager, the first thing that you should learn is to give a smile. Kunyango, at what situation? Kunyango munaka, uyaka shatirwa, achida unasi, mani jojo no nondoona. Ajishika hapa, Mr. Yuda, please take a seat, sit down, calm down. Do you want a cup of tea or a drink or anything? Kana katanda a drink, what type of drink do you take? Kana ayungadoro, rano mvurira kasto racho rano, gadzira richiri shh. Smile, welcome to my office. I'm the manager of Harare International Airport. So, can I help you, sir? But ipapo smile zvekuti kana anga achida kufunga kuti nhasi arikutema nedemo kana ndiri kumfura nepfuti inodonha akatarisa smile yako. That's the first thing of a manager, kwete zvana chidodo zviyazve. And this brings much needed, especially proficiencies or it's a soft skill that you should adopt, guys. Learn to smile. Kana uri security manager, kwete kutaura zvakashitaurwa nemufesiyo, because that is a bad habit. Mufesiyo, it's a personal bad habit. Iyo iyayo yakatoratidza kuti haakwanise kuve ari munhu anoprotecta vanhu kana anofanira kushanda paenvironment yakadaro, because he can't afford to protect passengers. He can't afford to monitor their movements as required by his duty. His knowledge of corruption is very high than knowledge of security. So he lacks sensitivity pana anything chese chaanenge achidhila nacho. Saka rikona problem yakada semunhu yayo anobva nyika yenyu inobva yashaya security. And Zimbabwe yatove in a very precarious position. No security in the country, no security at the airport. And more, even police action cannot be initiated. Mapurisa cannot act pakadaro and because kana vasingakwanise kushanda zvine ma-implications kumberi kwacho, and ma-lapse of security zvine ma-impact or ma-implications kumberi. Chitarisai muone how Al Jazeera exposed that whole scenario, that whole situation. It means there is now adverse international relationship between Zimbabwe and other countries. Kana ma-presidents of other countries kuti vaivalende paHarare International Airport pane such security lapse vakutotya. Ukatasa even kana vanhu vezvema-human rights vaive kuti kana pachikwanisa kuitwa zvakadaro paipai patove ne-fallout, guys, patove ne-fallout. Even ndege dzimwe chaidzo vakutofunga twice or thrice kuti hey, zvakaita ngendege yekuIran kana Iraq kana Russia kuti iende kunomhara paipai. Vanenge vakufunga kuti Zimbabwe is just an open country yekuti security manager vacho angopuwa mari ndege inoblowewa. Saka it brings business down. Those are the implications of security lapse, because ukangopangoita kalaxitke security obvious ma-terrorists ndo paanoda ipapo. Unoziva kuti airport yekangoredwa yakatorwa Zimbabwe yaenda, and Zimbabwe yaenda. Saka pa video yamaona yayo, the guy was polite but he lacks security maturity kuti anyatsoziva kuti chii chaakuita. If you are a security manager, you are more of an ambassador to the country. What you do at the airport is what the outside world see. And if you can't protect the airport, you can't protect passengers, you can't protect equipment, you can't protect the environment, then you are not a required security manager. And so I was talking about that security iripa airport pedu. I need to look into certain issues now. I think I've done with security. Kana pana anenge achida kubvunza any question, ndataura panapa as a security manager, a qualified security manager. I've shown you my credentials. I can comment on anything chinonzi chine security mukati, because ndo kubasa kwangu. Andimona, ndo kubasa kwangu. Ndinawo ma skills acho. And I did not get them overnight, but through 3 years of study, ndichiverenga security, kuti ndive kuti munhu akunzi security. I cultivated this security awareness in myself through study. And you that the moon is bigger on the dark side. This Henrietta is tip of iceberg. She is the decoy, a sacrificed lamb to prove that the Zim is anti-corrupt. Plus, they were doing collateral damage of the Al Jazeera document. They knew about. Let's stop there. I don't think they knew about it in Gomatem. With all the utterances that I've seen, then they didn't know about the filming of the Al Jazeera. If you listen to this Ruud Chakutu, Rick, he produced a video where he was conflicting himself. It's a 5 minutes video. But in that 5 minutes video, he conflicted himself a lot. If you look at his body language, as a security manager, you don't read the body language, if you are lying, I can tell you, no, you are lying. Body language, you know, kutengesa urugunyepa. Because even if you look at whatever he was saying, he lacked self-control. Look at the video. Watch it on Twitter. When he was trying to brush aside. Hey, this decoy, this what. He lacked self-control. He contradicted himself a lot. And even his body language, kind the way he was communicating, kutona tu munu a cornered. It's just a cornered individual. Aruda kutry kuda kudefenda, but it's too late. Daiva is not panezvakadaro zvichaitika. They should have said it before Al Jazeera yaburitsa. Izvozvi zvavasi kuziva what is in part 3. They don't know. Hanzi magetsi aya hapana aiziva kuti trepwa pai vainge vakafokasa kuti, because the people who approached them, they said they wanted to invest 100 million. And so whatever they were doing, they were focusing on getting that debt money. They were focusing on getting that debt money. Because papa ne promise ye mari. Saka zvekunzwa record what vaiziva, nobody knew that it was being recorded. They were trying to sound nice. They were trying to tell all the avenues how the monies will be transferred from Dubai to Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe to Dubai, gold and so forth. Saka vaitaura the system kuti ichafamba sei pa airport pacho kuti pana na chidodo. It was like a well-oiled smuggling mafia or smuggling gang. Saka, if you look at the whole scenario, apana pavaiziva kuti they are being filmed. Andrigona. Because ukada kutarisa, apana pane bias. Ponga someone angari biased because he knew kuti angari was being filmed. Apana pane impatience. Someone is explaining, but the person is impatient because he knows something's going around here. Tulan, how are you, Mr. Tulan Mpov? Apana, even ukada utarisa wana iwan pawai, there was even no delay at all. Because if you know you are under a watchful eye, because documentary rakaitwa in the confidence of this gentleman anonzi 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗏. And this airport security guy is part of the investigation. On episode 2, I saw a recording from the airport CCTV. The guy says is the manager. How did they get the CCTV recording? It's pakawanda, because this is a secret filming. Zvekubvunzwa namukoma Alan Shuma. I want you to look at my secret filming that I did in 2008. And go and look at it. At the end of that video, I was filmed myself packing my things with my family when I said goodbye, I'm leaving Zimbabwe. Who did that? Who did that part? Those are the ones who watch film rangu rese vote rigging. Because ndindatanga nazo zviya. As you know, I mean that the documentary was to be aired. They were aware that it was going to be bad. Yes, they were not aware when recorded. Yeah, definitely. And they knew, because they were given, they knew, they were told that Al Jazeera has got secret filming for you guys, and it's gonna be aired. And one, saka vakatadza kana vakaneta kana kuda kuzvidefenda. And vakaneta kana kuda kuzvidefenda kuti how can we defend ourselves? Because kana paipai vanga vakafocus 100 million. Whatever they were doing was to impress pana blazu yao ya kuti mari ibude. Those are vanga vachida kuita paipai. Andimona. Those are vanga vachida kuita. Even if you look at their language, you listen at their language, look at their body languages, they were so confident. They didn't know that they are under a watchful camera. Andimona. Ukada kuvatarisa, baba, pai rwa basa paya. Anawo ndakamboona kana aifrown. And they maintained, their communication skills, awe kunyatso make sure they get that money, the monies that they wanted. It's in simple English. Simple English. Ukaterera unyatso. Andizoti vanhu vari kurasika papi. Vanhu vasiri kunyatso da kuibata kuti vari kurasika papi. Andinoona. Saka, if we look at Harare International Airport, it's a danger to our country. It's not supposed to be the state in which it is supposed to be. If you look at it, Harare Airport, it's no longer an airport that can be classified to be safe in the world with that type of security manager. And do you know how a diplomat is arrested? You need permission from Commissioner of Police just stopping him illegal. How about when a diplomat is carrying a bomb? You can't wait for the permission from the commissioner. When he's carrying a bomb, you can't wait for permission from the commissioner. It is supposed to be a norm, 𝗠𝗳𝗶𝗆. It is supposed to be a norm. And who authorized the arrest of 𝗚𝗂𝗟? 𝗚𝗂𝗟 is not a diplomat. And he's not a diplomat. And right was this what no game rake. See, I won't yagam jeba paya. Because as diplomat as she, but dangar diplomat as na message. Read him on. Sakamurgona vakangom attack, vakangom nonga. Because why is what is a nonanity. Pakaipa 𝗠𝗂𝗟𝗏. Pan a lot at this play. So, what people are failing to understand, now doctor about money laundering, what it is. Who she is the minister, right? Ana ningirikini 𝗠𝗂𝗟𝗏. Akangofanana boss Henrietta ano leader an organization small miners. And the chairman, the chairwoman with that organization. I don't think that organization even mu constitution of the country is supposed to be. I don't think so. Good organization yake is constitutionally constituted. I don't think so. And Saka is just a non-need. Someone would any policeman can stop and pick. And so let's talk about money laundering here. Is she commissioned? She's non-need. 𝗠𝗂𝗟𝗏. She's a non-need. Even if you visit or the constitution of Zimbabwe, she's not like an MP. She's just someone. Zvakafanana nemunhu ano muri pachikoro imimi, muri pachikoro. Mukaita committee pachikoro. Mochuzwa unzi imimi muri sports commissioner. Muri sports kana kuti imimi ndimi nomunjona zvepama sports pa committee yechikoro. Ndo zvakangofanana ne position ya Henrietta. Because small scale miners vakangoungana vakati small scale miners ndobva vamusarudza vakamuti iwo ndiwe chairperson unenge uchiona small scale miners. And muriona hazvisi kana muconstitution. I don't think zvirimo muconstitution. Igroup rekuti zvafanira kuti iburial society. Zvafanira neburial society. Burial society mogona kuchuza chairman weburial society. And mota mwananga mwaita sei mwachanda kwanoshanda. You work to different companies, but munenge muna chairperson when you burial society. We cannot say kuti chairman weburial society ane the same powers as member of parliament, which is a no. Hana the same powers as a police commissioner or what? No, hana. It's just a non-need. And the organization yake is just like a burial society. Saka, if you look at it, that organization, ndo inenge ichiona kuti small scale miners vari kuchera vaya goridhe ravo ri kutengeswa sei, igroup ravo ravakafoma. Zvafana vanhu vechibage vanorima chibage kumusha. Munogona kuti village yenyu mutsvaga chairman achaona kuti chibage chenyu muchachitengesa sei. Hanzi 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗏, I hope live haisati yakupera ndichangosvika. Aiwa tatanga manje haisati yakupera. Handiti manzwa 𝗠𝗂𝗟𝗏. She's just a non-need. Afanana na chairperson weburial society kana chairperson wekumusha kunorimwa cotton. Mota CMB kutibira because iye has fidelity, has got nothing to do with the fidelity. Fidelity goridhe rofanira kutengeswa kufidelity. Zvafana cotton mungairima motengesa kuCMB. Saka mobva mati imimi CMB iri kutibira. Ngatifomei organization yedu inoona nezvecotton yedu. Kana tichinegotiata neCMB tonegotiata mari yatinoda kuziva kuti iyi mari cotton yedu tarima takaibata. How much do we need for our cotton? Zvafana nemasmall scale miners aya. Vanoungana vanobvisa tumari vachita affiliate their organization iyoiya. vachiona kuti organization iyo ndio ichazononegotiata nefidelity kuti muri kuda goridhe rinobva kuvanhu vedu vari kuchera, tine goridhe rakadai patiri kutengesa at a certain amount. Ano ndozoonekwa inini manje ndakubuda negoridhe rere kuenda naro kunze kwenyika, ndakutiza naro, ndo panonge paakuzouya money laundering, pakuuya corruption, pakuitika zvakawanda. Saka people vanhu vazhinji vakutadza kunyatso understanda kuti what is money laundering. If you look at money laundering, this is a method of creating massive amounts of cash. This cash is generated from criminal activities. And my criminal activities are iwayo angofana ne drug trafficking. No genuine country legalize illegal gold mining. Definitely the problem yapo manje TB ndeyekuti from mainstream mining equipment yekuchera mgodhi kunochera muchinyi yakudhura. Saka makona vanhu vazhinji vakungota resort to small scale miners, and the small scale mining yaya haina muridzi anoti panapa ndepangu, pangoburi pangonzi paguka padhuka kalaini kegoridhe, vanhu vese vanongoya ungana vochera. Zvinhu zvekuti hurumende inofanira kutarisa the environment, the health of people and so forth, kuti zvilegalizwe. I don't think kuti zvingade kulegalizwa zvazvo, because zvinokonzera environmental degradation. So I was talking about money laundering, and that it's a method of creating a massive or large amounts of cash, and that amount of cash is generated from criminal activities like smuggling. It's a criminal activity. MuZimbabwe ukasmuggler mota wakabatwa ndaujeri, and the motikari yacho it will be forfeited to the state. Andimona saka muchiona motikari dzimwe dzinenge dziri kuyambuka muna Zambezi dzizobatwa dzichitorwa nestate, because unenge uchitry kuevada tax. The country needs tax. Saka smuggling is a criminal activity where you are trying to evade paying tax to the government. Zvakafanana ne drug trafficking, zvakafanana ne terrorism, funding ye terrorism. Andimona mari yacho inoita ngeri kubva ku a genuine supply or a legitimate supply of money. And the money from the criminal activity is considered debt. Nobody knows debt, and the process launders it to make it look clean, because this is criminal activity that is generating large sums of money or massive amounts of cash. So once it is a criminal activity, then it means the money is generated from any criminal activity. It is dirty. Saka ichizonzi dirty money. Ndopasiri kunyatsoteerera vanhu kuti vanzwisise. Varakashi vari kudefenda vasinganzwisise panhu pandiri kutaura. Kuti this loan money iri kugeneratwa in criminal activities. Zvekuita yekutengesa madrugs, yekusmuggler gold, yekuita terrorism funding. Atiti mona. Saka criminal activity iyoyo is considered dirty. This is yakuzonzi money laundering, because the process of launders is to make the money look clean. Haizoiti semari yabva kucriminal activity inenge yakuita ngegenuine money. Ipa mukuzonzwa ichinzi yaizoiswa kumabhengi akati, yaizoenda kumabhengi, kana yakumabhengi ikoko yatove musystem, yatove genuine money, it has been laundered. Ndo zvavanotaura. So money laundering itself is a crime. 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗏 has committed a crime. Vese vanarushwa they committed a crime. The president of Zimbabwe has committed a crime. Vana iwani vese they've committed a crime. Money laundering is a criminal activity, because you are trying to clean money from debt activities, and those activities which are debt makes the money debt. And kazhinji kacho idhiri rinongorwa ka1 ka1 ka2, because haasi madhiri anoramba achidzokerwa. This is how money is laundered. kana pachinzi money laundering, apa ndoda kutry kuhelpa varakashi who are defending this thing. They are defending this thing. Kuti money laundering yacho, hey, chichi, Zimbabwe is under sanctions. Hey, we need cash. You don't need that money. You cannot commit a crime because you need money. That cleaning of the debt money coming from debt activities is on its own is a criminal offense. Whoever receives it, you are a criminal. So Zimbabwe as a country is a criminal country. That is Zimbabwe ari munhu. Ngada kutaura kuti taso achinzi iwo hausvike kuAmerica tokusunga, haupinde muBritain tokusunga, hauye muRussia tokusunga, muDubai macho chaimo Zimbabwe haifana kusungwa dai anga ari munhu. Because he is receiving that money. Money is coming from criminal activities. This is why they consider it debt. So if it is debt money, they now need to clean it. By cleaning it, and now this money has been laundered. Yachena yawachwa. Kulonda, kuacha, Maria yawachwa yachena manje. Could you uchifunga kuti mari yakabva kupi? Could it is from a debt activity? As it doesn't make sense. This is where Jazeera came in to carry out an investigation. An investigation is just a process or a method of trying to bear what is hidden, and is to try to expose what is hidden. So Jazeera came in Zimbabwe to expose the cleaning of debt money, or this to expose how this debt activity or this criminal activity are generating large sums of money. Zakufambana na 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗏 ndokwanisa kubva kuDubai ndine 1.2 billion in my bag, ndinongoisa red tape nonosvika kumba kwangu. The mere fact that 𝗚𝗚𝗟𝗗𝗏 has placed a red tape to call it diplomat, it means no one is going to search that bag. You cannot search Degra diplomat under immunity. So he's taking debt money from Dubai, bringing it to Zimbabwe. He can bring a bag full of 1.2 billion US dollars, which is a massive amount of cash. But how is it generated? It's from a criminal activity. Ndizo mari dzari dzimwe dzokuti mukana na Dubai ndozikutengeswa madrugs idzodzo. Ndozino sponsor terrorism, funding terrorism. Those are the monies that 𝗚𝗚𝗟𝗗𝗏 is moving around trying to launder. And it more. So money laundering on its own or itself is a crime. Ndofunga this definition will try to help varakashi varoda kutry to defend about money laundering. So this process of making illegally gained proceeds, which we call debt money, to appear legal. When it appears legal, it's now clean. This money was illegally gained. So it's debt money. And someone is trying to clean it to appear legal. Once it's clean, yeah, illegal money. Very clear. Apana chirungu chinoshamisa. There is no English that should confuse Varakash. And I don't know why Varakash are defending this. But this money is illegally gained, which makes it debt. And the money is illegally gained, which makes it debt. When it's illegally gained, to make it debt, 𝗚𝗚𝗟𝗗𝗏, nemamwe smugglers, They are trying to make the money appear legal. That means they are cleaning it. Kazhinji kacho zvine ma-levels izvi zve-money laundering. Zvine 3 levels. One level ye-money laundering, they call it placement. Second level, they call it layering. And the third level, they call it integration. Izvi zvakafanana nekuti hembe yakapfekwa. First level yacho ndeyekuibvisa. Second level ndeyekutora woisa mumushini kunouwacha, woisa zvese zviri kudiwa. Third level yacho ndeyekuzobvisa hembe yaiono aina yachena, haichaoneke tsvina. Munhu akupfeka kuti nenge akachena. Those are like 3 layers of money laundering. I think I'm explaining it zvekuti vanhu vanonyanzwisisa, and I wonder why Varakash are defending this. Because the illegitimate funds are furtively introduced into the legal or into the legitimate financial system. Then the money is moved around to create confusion, sometimes by wiring or transferring through numerous accounts. Even my street kids shall open my bank accounts for the money to appear legal. Financially, it is integrated into the financial system through additional transactions until the debt money appears clean. Saka inenge ine ma-stages ainofamba kuti izonzi mari yachena. Kana yabuda inzi yachena paipa, hapana chakwesena kuti mari yambobva kupi, zvambofamba sei. So usually source of money, smuggling, tax crimes, fraud, embezzlement, drugs, theft, bribery and corruption. Saka tasvika paruda kuti Varakashi pavaruda kudefenda pacho ndepapi. Because source of this money is from bribery and corruption, smuggling of our gold in around Zimbabwe. So the goal of placement, which is the first layer, is to deposit criminal proceeds into financial system. You change currency, kanangari ma US, anogona ma rands. You change my denominations, kana angari ma $20, anogona kuchinja kuita ma 100 ma denominations are change. Transportation of that cash and cash deposits. Manzo chinzanzi motorcade ya president of Zimbabwe, ZIM1 motorcade, is the one that is transporting this illegal money, this debt money. It is the one that is used to transport or to escort gold for smuggling kwenda nayo airport. Hanzi pandoridzwa siren, gold richiburiswa munyika. This is where Emmerson Mnangagwa becomes a criminal. Yabva ipapo pa placement patruktaura inobva yaenda pa layering. The goal of layering is to conceal the criminal proceeds. The original criminal proceeds, Maria, the goal of it is to hide it, is to conceal it. This is why you see it took us time. They can do it by wire transfers. They can do it by withdrawals of cash. They can do it by cash deposits into other bank accounts. They can do layering by split and merge between bank accounts. Kuti street kid anogona kuvhurwa bank account obvaisirwa kana kuti 55 million or 50 million. At the end, they want to take that money, they merge my bank accounts. Yakuzonzi ayapinda yamubhengi rakati yazofamba ita patwa ma transfers, mari yaitwa layered. So this money has now been concealed from the original criminal process. So on placement, the goal is to deposit criminal proceeds into financial system. On layering is to conceal now that money, is to hide it. A final position is now to integrate it. The goal of integration is to create an apparent legal origin for criminal proceeds. How do they do that? Creating fictitious loans. Samazo zvaita rana ubet angel kuti munhu tinompa loan munhu anozoitwa sei. That is money laundering. You can disguise ownership of assets. Panogonoitwa criminal funds used in third-party transactions. So there are a lot of especially if you look at integration. Integration ndio yanaitaura kuti hembe inenge ainwa yapfekwa munhu akufamba apo hauchazivi kuti hembe yanga ine tsvina kana hembe ndio yanga yakapfekwa nemunhu auraya munhu haisina ropa haisina chiya white yachena yainwa zvatopera. Money laundering on its own, it affects the economy of a country because launderers, they are endlessly trying to find new routes for laundering their funds. Economies with the growing developing money centers, however, they've got inadequate controls which are significantly vulnerable to the establishing eye or countries. Money laundering inonetsa kudictator, but inouraya economy because this money which has been laundered will never find its way into the state. It will find its way into individual, so it weakens the financial system of a country. Boss kana yaku withdraw mari I withdraw isara to the benefit of state. Yotorwa yese kana iri 1.2 billion yotorwa yese yoenda maoko emunhu 1. Ndo parimona pari kupinda Reserve Bank now. Kunzi Reserve Bank ndo iri kushandiswa for money laundering. Inopinzwa paya chinzi yabhengwa ku Reserve Bank muaccount yanhingi kana yakubuda inobuda yese. Saka Reserve Bank inenge ya cleaner debt money. Ndo pamuri kuona pakudaidzirwa kunzi Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe should be put on sanctions. So concealing that money, it will erode the nation's economy by ever changing the demand for money. Saka panenge pachitwa exhausting of big amounts of cash inenge ichipinda nekubuda, which does not help economic growth, but it will help some people's pockets, and this endanger the financial health of a country. This is why uchiona ku Zimbabwe as we speak kuti daita tine financial sound country, ngadai road dzigadzirwa, ngadai zvipatara zviwana masupplies mushonga, but zvese izvo hazvikwani kuwanikwa because the money is being laundered. Iri kungopinda iri debt yozobuda ya clean ichibuda ichienda kuvaridzi, haipinde ma-state funds, ma-state coffers, but mari iri kubva ku-smuggling of our gold, corruption, which makes it debt. But Reserve Bank does not tell you that this is debt money, does not even question those people who are bringing the money. And money laundering has effects on worldwide markets. Saka concealing the money is coupled with underlying criminal activity. Thus, the impact of cash laundering can be summed up into it can be summed up into a lot of things. Could money laundering, my effects achakamira say, 1, it undermines legitimacy of private sector. 2, it undermines integrity of financial markets. 3, it causes loss of control of economic policy. It distorts the economy of a country, and it introduces instability into the economy because there is loss of revenue to the country. Overall, partly what we call security threats to privatization efforts. The rise of economic prices. So what they are doing on a 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗋, kana mchimuti is an ambassador arukutengesa Zimbabwe for the better of the country, he is not doing any good to the country. He is not doing any good to the country. This is where we expect the government to take steps or to take measures to curb such money laundering. But now, the head of state for Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, he is deeply involved in money laundering. That means he is the one who is providing cover to the proceeds of this debt activity. He is utilizing the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe to provide cover to this corruption. This is in breach of Zimbabwe constitution, because the president of a country is cheating the country that he leads. Already, he has abandoned the constitution of Zimbabwe. He has abandoned his duties. This is why I was asking people, why is Mnangagwa still head of state? Why is Mnangagwa still heading ZANU-PF? If it is an organization that fought for the country for the better of every Zimbabwean, you have got someone who is cheating the country that he is leading. And Murgona. So there must be very strict or very effective penalties for this illegal acquiring of debt money. These smugglers must be sent to prison. The smugglers must ensure that they don't manipulate other people, like what we have seen, that they created a safe passage of our gold from the small-scale miners and miners to the state house. From the state house, they are given motorcade. Siren nenge president warikuenda airport. Osvika pai onzi bhegi raresearchwe na security manager watachitaura naye anonzi Cleopas Chidodo, robva ratongopinda mundege hutu raenda kuDubai. Saka, this is why I was saying even drugs, people are getting surprised. There is too much drugs which are entering the country. When I have drugs, you've got a security manager anonzi Chidodo, Cleopas, who man the whole airport, and these drugs can be flown from Colombia. Achishika Zimbabwe and a free passage into the country. Look at now, oh, vana vese muZimbabwe vafana mayouth zvangoita zvizombi nemadrugs. Vanhu vachazita zati madrugs ari kupinda nekupi. I think our Jazeera document has opened your eyes, guys, to see. I don't know why Varakashi are defending all this. I don't understand why. The episode 2 and episode 1 that we've seen so far have exposed ZANU-PF, has exposed Emmerson Mnangagwa, has exposed even Mangudya, it has exposed even our intelligence agents, the CIO. They are not doing their job. People were wondering where drugs are coming from in Zimbabwe. Guys, Panama stars, Panama. I know I'm getting deep in this discussion to try and help people understand. Today, I'm talking as a security manager. I'm a qualified security manager. I've shown you my credentials. I'm masters. I'm not sure if what I'm what I'm saying here could be Greek to you guys, or some people might not understand what I'm saying. I'm here to take questions. Vanenge vachida kubvunza, munondibvunza. Vanenge vari panapa vari kugutsikana nezvandiri kutaura. Munokandawo masters. Masters anotibatsira kuti tizoteererawo internet and so forth. I'm not looking for these stars to eat. I'm looking for these stars to help pay the internet. Saka nyaya yandiri kutaura panapa yesmuggling. Atetalis, thank you so much. Thank you, Atet. Nyaya yandiri kutaura yesmuggling yatiri kutaura panapa ndo yauraya Zimbabwe, ndo yauraya economy. Ndakanzwa inini Mnangagwa achitaura kuti economy will resurrect like Jesus. It now makes sense what he was saying now. Kuti economy yakafa zvinezvi, they killed Jesus. Ameno they expect someone kuti akauya then it will resurrect like Jesus, not in his term, because he is cheating the country that is leading. Ndataura panapa ndikati narcotic drugs anopinda muZimbabwe, madrugs ana cocaine vanani vaiva. People were asking, how are these drugs finding their way into the country? Vana vese zvango zvizombi nemadrugs muHarare. You have seen it now. It's dead money. These drugs anopinda nana 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗃, anopinda nana anonzi 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗟𝗃. Ndivana anopinda nemadrugs. I remember 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗃 ana maitita, I think in America. Paakatora maitita achinzi anoda kuratidza something, achiburisa gold bullion. Pane munhu akambotaura akati, iwe uyu Java uyu ndo vanhu ndo marunners egold ava vari kuburisa gold muZimbabwe. Vanhu vati ndikati haana capacity. But I was shocked. Pane video iripo ana maititi vaiva kuAmerica, maititi vachiburisa gold bullion. I think she was a runner as well with gold. Apedza hazvo 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗃, we are talking that the money is airatidza maititi ayo, it's debt money. That debt money apedza manje akadzoka kuZimbabwe atengesa adeliver goridhe renyu apuwa mari dziya. Odzoka kuZimbabwe akutaura kuti wachi yandakapfeka 18,000, bhutsi yandakapfeka $4,000, suti yandakapfeka ndiye 80,000. Saka paanenge achifamba iye worth is about $200,000. Your money, not his money. It's debt money. It's laundered money. Andimona. Saka it now makes sense. How does he get the gold? He is close to Idi Mnangagwa. This is why we say, if you look at the State House, it has been reduced to a man laundering. It's no longer a dignified State House at Israel. Man laundering with State House. Imagine dubious characters like vana 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗃, dubious characters like vana 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗃 ndo vanoswera vana president weZimbabwe vachironga kusmugla gold. Kana adzoka akutaura kuti wachi yandakapfeka 18,000, bhutsi yandakapfeka 4,000, suti yandakapfeka 80,000, ring iri nde 11,000. Wachi achitaura achitsvinyira vanhu. Let's come back to Zimbabwe. 𝗠𝗳𝗏𝗃 zvinhu zvaanenge akapfeka ipapo worth is 80,000 or $200,000. Tiri munyika isina zvikoro. 43 years of independence, Zimbabwe doesn't have schools, good schools. Hatina clean water. President wenyu arunovhura tap water. He can't buy us mushonga wokupurify mvura muHarare. He's cheating the country that is leading. Apedzazvo muHarare ngona masoja akadhuka, matauni ese masoja, not Harare chete. Matauni ese masoja arongodhuka, hakuna mvura iri kubuda, hakuna magetsi. Road dzedu, they are all dilapidated. My buildings, they are depleted. If you go in Zimbabwe, you think it's a country in a war. These are the impacts and effects of corruption and money laundering. the gold that is supposed to be sold to finance the health sector, to finance education sector, to finance the road infrastructure, to finance production of electricity, is being used to buy shoes for Passion Jawa. It's being used to buy a watch. It's used to buy campaign materials for ZANU-PF. It's used to buy 4x4 vehicles for ZANU-PF. Zimanya mapotos, zichidona, zichipwanyika, they don't care. Because mahara dzinenge zichingoya from the debt money. So, Mnangagwa, president of Zimbabwe, has formed this core criminal activity which we call money laundering in Zimbabwe. To combat money laundering, what we need is to ensure Mnangagwa is removed. If ZANU-PF does not remove Emmerson Mnangagwa now, I rest assure you, come 2023 election, ZANU-PF ichadyiwa zvinonyadzisa. Look at kana vachienda kumarali, they are so happy kuona pane vanhu pakazara vanhu. Mnangagwa azadza vanhu. We all know Mnangagwa ane mabhazi akabva nawo kuBelarus. Those are his personal buses. Haase ZUPCO. He is loaning those buses to ZUPCO. He's getting paid by ZUPCO whilst those buses are his. Anongotuma mabhazi ake kuenda all over Zimbabwe kunouya kuunganidza vanhu. Ndakanakirwa pama-primary elections eZANU. Pane one rekuurungwe kare kana Mashuwestu rine 17 mavotes akapinda 676 spoiled votes. That speaks volume. Vanondorangana kuti ashamwari tikuitiswa unenge uri wega hapana nokona ngori kwekwe wokanda uko 600 something spoiled votes, only 17 or so which were good votes. So if this trend continues, manzwa zvinzi Mnangagwa is just a fool. He just like to cut a ribbon. And Chiwana Chibaba, a long time, brother. It's justice. Thank you for coming, my brother. And it's honor. So, ndo nyaya yatukutaura yemoney laundering. It is our Jazeera documentary has provided us with eyes to see concealed information, hidden information. Our Jazeera investigation came at the right time because people were asking Zimbabweans, we have got diamonds. Where are the proceeds for diamonds? We have got lithium. Where are the proceeds for lithium? We have got tobacco. Where are the proceeds for this golden leaf? We have got gold on its own. One of the smugglers with gold is one of the smugglers with tobacco as well. The gentleman is busy making cigarettes in South Africa, selling them illegally there. The state is benefiting nothing. Saka mchora tisina road, atina magetsi, atina mvura yakanaka yekunwa, atina working sewage system, atina zvikoro. And the ZANU-PF government does not care about all that. Nosaka documentary Al Jazeera ndati nini. It's just, it is a process, or it is a documentary that must force, if you are a Zimbabwean, to go and register to vote. Because if you don't vote, see what rot has been done by ED since 2017. 5 years Zapinda Mnangagwa, you have seen the rot either surpass 38 years dzakatongwa naMugabe. So if you don't go and register to vote, that means you are approving the current situation. Zvakuda vanhu vanorizina, zvakuda vanhu vanofunga. Ngatimboratidzai Africa kuti isusu tiri vanhu vakaverenga, vakaenda kuchikoro, takadzidza. Ukaenda South Africa tinosekwa. Unoburitsa macertificates ungada achikuburitsira panapa. Ndoziva pana vamwe vasina kumaona. Ndokona maburitsa futi macertificates andinawo panapa. Ndokona kuburitsira futi macertificates andinawo panapa. Handisina kuburitsa mamwe macertificates anoroesa vanhu hana. Ndingoburitsa macertificates ekuti vanhu vaone. Ndikaburitsa certificate iri, vanhu vari kuZimbabwe, they understand what this is. This is a pitman qualification accounting level 4. Ndakaita first class. Chikoro ndorova, ndodimbura chikoro, kudimbura ana zvokutamba. This is account. I'm a qualified bookkeeper. Besides being a security manager, I am a qualified bookkeeper. Namboburitsa ma certificates mamwe ayaya. Tokona maburitsa futi kuti vanhu vaone. Atachimboburitsa aya kuti vanhu vaone. Kuti kana tichitaura panapa, inini ndotaura with authority, because I am qualified to say whatever I'm saying here. Andimona, tikaburitsa ma certificates, kungoburitsa kungokuratidzai zvandambokuratidzai, kana papa nevamwe vanga vasipo panapa. Iri mukatitarisa rakanzi Advanced Diploma in Security Management. Ma qualifications eZimbabwe Institute of Management. Ripakati iri diploma in security management. Rekutanga iri certificate in security management. Ndofunga maona. When I'm talking, I talk with authority. Because I'm qualified to say what I'm saying here with authority. I am a qualifications ekuZimbabwe. Kuti kana nhasi ndikadzokera kuZimba ndikada hangu ndinongosvika ndotsvaga basa ra security manager pabhengi. Ndenda kana nomanager musecurity risk and loss control mabhengi, airport kana chii, I can go and do it. Aya atichazokuratidzai aya madegree. Zvemadegree kwete. Tauratidzana ma-certificates. Ezvandiri kutaura kuti I am qualified to say what I'm saying here as a security manager. I can work with the law enforcement agencies to put security measures or strategies to counter zvese zvirikuitwa nana Mnangagwa izvi. If dairandiri ndini ndinohedha the intelligence agents, ndaitanga kumonera vese vataurwa muAljazeera vese, ndamonera vese, tozomonera mukuru wacho. Bozi mukuru wacho ndiyo kupesera kubata. Kana mabata tumbwanana twake twese, iye haachanetsa kunhonga, mwakungoorera. Saka ukatarisa, what I'm saying here, 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗄 himself is a criminal. He has already committed a global criminal offense. Ukatarisa globally, there are efforts to combat money laundering globally. Kuna inonzi the Vienna Convention. It creates an obligation for signatory states to criminalize the laundering of money from drug trafficking. Tukutaura laundering, whether it's from drug trafficking, whether it's from smuggling, but pane an effort that has been made by the countries around the world to try and curb money laundering. In 1990, there's this what we call Council of Europe Convention. This council establishes a common criminal policy on money laundering. Mu Europe muno. Nosaka tukutaurati vana Mnangagwa anogona kuiswa international warrant of arrest nenyaya yemoney laundering. Reserve Bank obviously akutopinda pama-sanctions nenyaya yemoney laundering. Yakubatwa manje pama-sanctions Reserve Bank. Vana ubet enje ungopinda zvakaita muEurope anosungwa because these countries signatories to prevent money laundering. There is what they call G10s, Basel Committee Statement of Principles. The International Organization of Securities Commission, IOSCO, it encourages its members to take necessary steps to combat money laundering and insecurities and the future markets. Saka Zimbabwe could be part of all these organization, especially when it joins the BRICS. Zimbabwe will be on the spotlight. All these money launderings are angachinzi criminal offense. International Monetary Fund, Bengre 𝗚𝗎𝗓𝗓, it has passed its 189 member countries to comply with international standards to thwart terrorism financing. So this money laundering is also money that is that finance terrorism in our country. I know people might disagree with me, but I am going to tell you what we mean terrorize, to terrorize citizens of a country. United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, it proactively tries to identify and stop money laundering. Right. I was talking about this money being used to terrorize our people. A very good example is 𝗓𝗂𝗟𝗃. 𝗓𝗂𝗟𝗃 are a terrorist group, 𝗬𝗂𝗍𝗍, which terrorize citizens on daily basis, trying to feed you with propaganda. That's terrorism. If you go to Zimbabwe, a very good example. Kwakamutswa organization yainzi Border Gaze. Yaitrainwa ma-youth militia na Emerson Mnangagwa. Ma-youth militia, these people vaipuwa motikari ma-4x4. Aitengwa nema-gold smugglers. Vaingotenga ma-4x4 hobo. Kubva kwatorwa one yopuwa wing yeZANU-PF ema-youth militias yaye. Yobva yabviswa number plate. Yabviswa number plate. Vanopuwa list revanhu vekuenda kuna abductor vachiuraya. Hanzi comrade Mamuka Semba vangadzimbogara mujeri cause takayeva tofira mahara. Ndo chokwadi mukomaseni. We should lock these thieves. So you see, these youth militias went around the country with these cars. Imwe yacho motikari ndaitoiona ichifamba netop 6 yaPhilip Chiyangwa. Vakomana vainzi vana Gwanzura vanani vaive vekuChinoi, top 6 ya. Vaitopuwa one of this car vachifamba vachirova vanhu vainzi veMDC, vanhu vairohwa. Vakauraya mwe mupana wangu ainzi Binali Ukaroyo. So they terrorize the citizens of a country. Vanongotengerwa mota idzo zinana iwan dziri hobo. Vanopuwa police uniform. Ani makanzwa Jimmy kuna akaita ipuwa uniform yemapurisa nemabhato nesimbi. Chinorova tsvangirayo. Vachipuwa motikari vachinzi mapurisa. Vanosvika pamba pako zvavakaita itaidzamara vasvika kuti wasungwa. Wasungwa wobva wanzi tako newe hauchatowanikwa watodisappear. So the monies were used to terrorize the people of Zimbabwe. This laundered money used by ZANU-PF to terrorize the people of Zimbabwe. Saka kwatiri maZimbabweans, let's be happy. Because there is an investigation to stop this money laundering. Since it is an international crime, Al Jazeera obvious had to use its resources, sacrifice people's lives to go and investigate, or what is happening now. Blessing 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍, read mwana. So the purpose of Al Jazeera, nazonzwa wana mavaza, blazo wangu ye mavaza. Akutaura zvikanzi it's not impressive. I was not impressed by the Al Jazeera documentary. The problem that Mavaza does is he rushes into commenting without sitting down to think. Hanzi ukaona vanhu vanofunga makakomborerwa. Chaunofana kutanga waita usati waisa pen to paper is reason first. Let's reason. Ngatimbofunga first. Because the purpose of investigation in Al Jazeera is not to impress you. Is not to impress anyone. Get me wrong or right here. What I'm saying is Al Jazeera investigation is not to impress you, but its purpose is to expose and unveil matters that are concealed. That is the only purpose in Al Jazeera documentary. Whatever you choose to do with the documentary, it's all up to you as Zimbabweans. But anything that has been concealed has been made bare, has been unveiled. Matters have been unveiled here. There is nothing concealed anymore. Those that are mukoma Elvis, kuti whatever decision Zimbabweans as citizens, you need to look into this. It's all up to you. What Al Jazeera did was to unveil matters that are concealed. Zvamuchaita ne documentary re iroro, it's all up to you. As Mavaza uyo hands Al Jazeera documentary is a 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 campaign. The problem with Mavaza is he doesn't want to reason. Because if it was a 𝗍𝗍𝗍 campaign, I don't think Mnangagwa would have appointed 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗄 as commissioner at large. Thank you. What are they going to get? Machine. Thanks. Animona. If the paper, if that anga read 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍, and if you want to pay one 𝗚𝗎𝗓𝗓 Macmillan, could pay one wana Mnangagwa warimo, wana Henrietta, wana mai Mnangagwa Kusilia Mnangagwa and so forth. I don't think so. This has got nothing to do with the 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. It's also 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍 tikutongoona kuti ndozviri kuitika munyika, ndozvaburiswa na Al Jazeera. So what Al Jazeera simply did was to weave together some of the most important areas that exposes Emmerson Mnangagwa. They just weave it together. Kungoruka apa, oruka osapa vanhu voti uyai muone juzi randaruka. Adimona. Now Mnangagwa is exposed. He is exposed. Prosper, 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. Mnangagwa is exposed. The problem why Mnangagwa is now exposed is whoever advised him to appoint 𝗚𝗢𝗟𝗗𝗄 as a ambassador at large, obviously is not 𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. Whoever advised Mnangagwa kutambana na passion Java, ndakambotaura pane imwe presentation ndikati president wenyu tinomujaja neshamwari dzaanotamba nadzo. Inini ndikatamba nembavha ndiri mbavha, handingatambe nembavha ndisiri mbavha. Saka tinojaja president wenyu netype of friends dzanoita hang around with. Anenge achifamba naPassion Jawa achita maselfie president of a country naPassion Jawa. Suri tiri kuwana tagure hedu. I think patakupinda ku episode 3 hanzi nenyaya. Episode 2 yabvarura zvese zvandaifungidzira zvandakataura musuya, zvese zvabvarurwa neepisode 2. So the documentary ramuri kuona reorganized in 4 parts. So far we've seen episode 1 and 2. We are here to see 3 and 4. And in more, the episode that we saw so far provided a thorough discussion of the mode, method, and the opportunity of struggling. So far, the 2 episodes have shown you how gold is smuggled, the mode of smuggling, the method of smuggling, and the opportunity of smuggling. Saka tataura kati musashamisika kuti madrugs ari kubva nekupi, ari kupinda nekupi. Nepa airport penyu. Hanzi mafriends ake haako munhu uya. Unoona kuti iye aitobirwawo uya thinking ndo deal. Aiwa haana kutanga manje kubaka Elvis. Adi makanzwa first episode mamusipo ero kuma. Honai ma episode ese imbogarai pasi munyatso materera SR2 aite kunge 1. Mark Millan mukangapoto uya akataura akati ndakaconvictwa, I opted kuenda kujail to save my friend. My friend is now the president of Zimbabwe. That means haana kutanga kuba nhasi. Haana kutanga kuba nhasi. So the role of president of Zimbabwe in the war smuggling business has been unveiled by Al Jazeera. Hapasina asichazive manje kuti what is his role in smuggling. So this is my response kuvarakashi, especially kuna mudhara mavhazi. Kuna mudhara mavhazi. Bozi ukatasa varakashi vacho chayo, they are shell shocked. Ndakatonzwa mwa watochema bhora musango varakashi. They are shell shocked. They never knew that their president would stoop so low kutambana na Java vachiba goridhe renyika richinda. It's so painful to hear Java mocking us. Exactly. After he smuggles your gold, and Saka Mchaita say seriously, it's vote mafia government. And Saka, after Java aputizane goridhe renyika kuenda naro kunze kwenyika abhadharwa, anodzoka itaura ndakapfeka sute 80,000. Saka zvamaziva muchaita sei nazvo. Zvamaziva. He's mocking Zimbabweans. He's underestimating the power of the people. Takambonzwa munangagwa achitaura kuti the people's voice, and the people's voice is kachirungu kake kuti the voice of the people is the voice of God. Dai Java ari muprofita waMwari aiziva zvekutaurwa zve. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Don't underestimate the power of the people. Don't underestimate the power of the people. Java is just underestimating the power of the Zimbabweans. And in more, so far, the 2 episodes have shown us the method, the mode, and the opportunity of smuggling. It has shown us the role of the president of Zimbabwe in this smuggling business. Varakashi, they are shell shocked. Vamwe vakambotanga vachidefenda nhasi vamira ho. Ukaenda paTwitter havachatauri nezvazvo. Vangoisa karodhi kekubeit bridge vakusa 300 megawatts zvikanzi ED is delivering. Because vakuona kuti zveshuwa kunyara nokuti ingadai munhu wese achitaura about Al Jazeera. But varakashi vakunyara manje kuti ndiye mudhara watakadefenda achipinda ndiye ari kuba kudai. So this documentary has contributed, and I think the president knows very well about the deals. For instance, there was need for $200,000 facilitation fee. Obvious. This is how he is involved. He knows everything. Anautanga manje. Zvakabvira kudhara izvi. Nosaka munza makiwa nakasara kati now that friend of close Ali wangu is now the president of this country. And I control 90% of his decisions. And more. And his wide objectives now have been met. And they are making money. I wish, I don't know, Zimbabweans, pambonsaka mchaita sei nazvo zvaitaura naJawa. First thing as Zimbabweans is to bring these offenders to justice. Because these are potential prisoners walking. These are candidates for Chikuru maximum prison. Varipanze, mabandita ari panze. The innocent people are locked inside, wana job skull. Whilst mabandita are outside. So as Zimbabweans, first of all, we need to bring all these offenders to book, to justice. Second, we need to bring down or to pin someone in position of power. We must find methods and ways now, not tomorrow, to pin down someone in a position of power. Because Mnangagwa now does not worth to be called a president. How can you call a thief a president? You can't do that. And in Murugona. Because in the mind of public officers, Al Jazeera, it's not only Al Jazeera. I showed the way. How secret voting, how voting was being stolen. I did a secret filming. And Al Jazeera is followed. Like I said, when I didn't develop, I didn't do anything on social, but she does on Al Jazeera at And on. At the moment, the public officers, Varukukwata, trust any person now. Saka, this is the time to strike. Vanachidodo clopas, vanakunaka, fidelity printers, 30,000 every month. $30,000 every month. Mnenge mchona mchita, mwana wakushanda wakumana, mwana rukura maro wakumana. Yopa wabvira kushanda, hauna kana chaunacho. Mwana rukupwa $30,000 a month. Ndopa murikuona pazoya these investigative journalists, ndopa vapinda to make sure that they investigate the elite. They investigate the decision makers. Clopas the decision maker. Kunaka the decision maker. Emerson Mnangagwa the decision maker. These are the elite of what we have seen. And what upinda shinyas. So this new breed of new dispensation in Varakashvayo, if you look at them, they spend lavishly. Motikari dzavanofamba nadzo kuti uwane kochifamba nemotikari yakadaro iyoyo unenge washanda makore mangani. Civil servant mugadijeri for 20 years haakwanisa raise $100,000 for 20 years. Soldier cannot raise $120,000 for 20 years contract yaunoshanda uri civil servant. Munhu aripwa 30,000, which is a quarter of your lifetime earning. Unonzwa rimwe benzi richiti pfe. Idipfe. Ndanga mapenzi akawanda panyika. Andi murikuona. The documentary is well executed, guys. It's a well executed documentary. And it serves its purpose. The analysis of this document is exciting. Oh boy, can but then taura chete right? Chich. Sekuru choko say new dispensation ekubando chokwadi. The analysis the documentary is so exciting. The exposure of all relevant facts is made clear. Because you are shoot into one thing, then next explanation brings what you are expecting. If you were pondering what's the next move from here, terera foot unzu. My documentary 2 hours is one. Take your time. But it's almost an hour garage terera. You can tell that analysis and the analysis is excited. The exposure is well executed. All the relevant facts are made to the public. You are told all the relevant facts. What you only need is your ears. Sit down in a quiet place and listen attentively. Jazeera did a great job. And what they did will change the world and will change your country. It will change you as well. Hey, nangana kozira moro Shapiro, mkoma kolid. Mwata Jazeera iripo se mdara. Msalata imi. Ande mruona. Varakashi wezanu. They won't change anything, guys. I'm telling you. They are not going to fix anything up. Zimbabweans need to fix their country. You need to remove Emmerson Mnangagwa. Their lives, Varakashi, will never change. Because to them, Madam Dara Mavaza and the likes, Vana George Charamba, they don't believe that telling the truth or telling a true story matters. Jazeera brought a true story, and that matters. Imagine, Ngoma Elvis, kutrukutaura nezve gold chet. How about public funds? How about diamond money? Kumamwe ese ma minerals and lithium and so forth. Because they are fuel pachezvayo. Nefodya necotton. Mnangagwa is filth rich. Jonathan Moyakamboda, this is the richest man in Sadak. Anopfura kaike kwa Angola kaike. Andimon. Saka, at this juncture, from my presentation, defining money laundering, letting you see clearly what has been discussed in the Jazeera. I hope if you go back and sit down to listen to it, you can now clearly understand their criminal offenses that were committed by Mnangagwa, Nana Java, whoever is in that documentary. And Msaterere Varakash, there is nothing that they will say which will there's nothing that you are going to say which will convince them. Kwavari anzi 𝗚𝗂𝗟𝗏. I'm not MDC Agafire. Anzi 𝗚𝗏𝗟. Because there is nothing that you tell them which will convince them. Both Varakashi, they are happy to matena. Jazeera on its own did not say anything that is appealing to them. That's also why I switched off in the middle of in the middle of the program. I turned it off. But you want to comment on it. You just saw half of it. Then you switched off. But you want to comment about it. Things that you did not hear. And on. A critical person, if Dainandri Murakashinin, Naigara person of Ranze, no terror, no pick up my facts and no argue now. As Mugabe wonders about Mnangagwa, but those terrorists in Malawi declared him 2018 winner. Yeah. Mugabe was right. He wonders. Now Mamuona, Ngoma Yuda, how are you? Long time. Tainus, zviri sei mwana wamai. Saka nyaya dzati kutaura ndedzekuti varakasha vakava, don't give them ear. Don't read nonsense that they write, because there is nothing you're gonna say which will convince them. Al Jazeera has done a great job. A well-executed documentary. And so I'm just relieved, and I'm glad to see Varakasha admitting, they are admitting being used, was they are being paid 10. Some of them now, they've opened their eyes. Mpana wangu Eustace ari panapa akavhurika kudhara mpana takamti uya ku MDC tichiri ku MDC uya ku 𝗏𝗏𝐶 mpana akuona manje kuti now he's a refugee mu UK. Vamwe goridhe riri kubiwa nevanhu vaimhanya achiti pfepfe now. Imagine mpana Eustace ndikakupa 5 million nas US dollars, life yako yesa uchashandi unoshandirei? Because upenyu hwako hwese mari yaunoshanda chaichai kubasa hapana paunoreza 5 million hapana. Saka ndikakupa 5 million utongonogara kumba uchingodya mari life yako yese hapasina chauchashandira. Varakasha akangowana cash in hand $50 US dollars zvatokwana. Haitombosvika sarupiwa $10 ndo avari kuita noise now. Saka vamwe vacho vakuona kuti tiri kushandiswa naye $10 mwe munhu achiva ne 1.2 billion US cash mbegi anditi maona. Saka zvaitwa neAl Jazeera zvabatana nezvandaikutaurirai last time. Ndakamboita presentation yedigital era, ndakati guys tiri mudigital era, usadherere 21st century. Dai kuri kudhara nyaya idzi taingodziverenga manewspaper, tairely nekuverenga newspaper kudai. But ezvinezvi there is visual content, mavoices muchanzwa, munhu wacho makamutarisa muchinzwa kuti ari kuti chii. Usadherere 21st century era. Makamunzwa 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏 achitaura, mukamuona mubhuni anonzi Rudland achitaura, makainzwa ZANU-PF kubva kare vatsvangirai varipo svika mudhara tsvangirai waenda zvikonzi hanzi MDC kutengesa nyika kumabhunu. Vabva kuMDC vakuti hanzi 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏 kutengesa nyika kumabhunu. Ndopa ndaibvunza mwe Murakashi ndikati uyu anonzi 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏𝗏 mushona here, munhu mutema here uyu, muBritish uyu. Ndakataurira munhu panapa ndikati 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏 uyu ndakamuona ari mudiki. Tiri vafana taimuona mukangapoto uyu ari mudiki, ane purazi ukaroiwa. Ndomati vakomana vaimhanya nezvimudhudhudhu, anochigona chimudhudhudhu zvakaipa mudhara uyoyo. And aiwina sterek makompetition zvimamo zvimare zvekuresa nemudhudhudhu. Ndo ranga riri basa rake 𝗏𝗏𝗟𝗏𝗏 uyo. Anoresa anogona, ndopainzi mukangapoto. Ndosta rake kuti mukangapoto. Kaenda ukaroiwa ukabvunza mukangapoto, vanhu vanokuudza kuti mukangapoto akanetsa murume uyo. But muBritish. Anonzi Rudland uyu muBritish uyu. Baba vake Rudland vaive minister of trade muRhodesia. Kuma 1964-65 baba vake was a minister of trade muRhodesian government. Baba wa Simon Rudland. Ndopa last time ndakataura ndikati zvezvaitaurwa chinzi Mnangagwa was a spy during the war, vanhu mairamba imimi. Vanhu vakati hanzi Mnangagwa was spared from hangman snooze boys of age. Guys, ndakakubvunzai ndikati pakaconvictwa Mnangagwa achinzi death sentence, how old was Mnangagwa? He was 23 years old. What is the majority age? Vamwe vanhu endai munoverenga, dai maikwanisa kupinda kuHarare Central Prison maverenga vanhu vakahengwa ipapo. Panyaya dzaMnangagwa vamwe vacho vakazohengwa vacho, vamwe vacho vanga ne 20 years, vamwe vacho vanga ne 19 years, vari vana vadiki. They were young than Mnangagwa, but he was spared, he was not hanged. Why? Don't tell me about age. 23 years aihengwa because vanga vari vadiki kwaari vakahengwa, iye akasara. Because of this Rudland, baba vake Rudland, baba wa Simon Rudland waakudhila naye nanhasi. was a minister mu-Rhodesian government kuma 1964. Rutland nana iwana vana Mukangapoto ndo vari kutengera ZANU-PF ma4x4 mazimota aya munoona aya. Achinzi maZANU-PF yatenga mazimotikari. Ndakambobvunza Eustace ndikati mari vanoiona kukanzi tine Jongwe printers ndikati kunyepa. Zvabuda pachena. So this documentary Jazeera rakuconnectisai madosi maakuona. Documentary irori ndosaka muri kuona vana Rutland nana Macmillan nana Rothenberg ndo vanotenga mazi 4x4 ayaya. What they want is just to keep ZANU-PF in power so that they continue to kubira nyika. Ndo varungu vamunoona vari responsible nema-disappearances evana veZimbabwe muZimbabwe. Andimona. Unoona ma4x4 aya isina number plate. Ichiuya nevanhu vari musivi. Uchisvika uchinzi wasungwa utakurwa woendwa naye. Hauchawanikwi, watsakatika. Munhu anotsakatika kunge tsono muZimbabwe. Vanoita idzamara vakarova nenyaya yemabhunu aya. Andimona. Saka kuvarakashi stuff like guys. Toziziva henyu kuti munoda kudefenda hoping to get a better job muZANU-PF. That will never happen. You will never have a good life as long as ZANU-PF is in power. Saka at the end, your hopes as varakashi, the good life and better jobs are shattered. Because hakuna mabasa anouya, mari ziri kuenda kuhomwe yevanhu vanomoti ma-imperialist. Vanhu vamaita hanzi triple-C kutengesa nyika kumabhunu. Muri imi muri kutengesa nyika kumabhunu. Hanzi it's now making sense. Mazviona here mukoma Elvis? You see why Zimbabweans disappear in our country? It's because of these whites. They want to keep ZANU-PF in power. They buy all these 4x4s with dirty money, laundered money. They give these cars to ma-CIO, ma-youth militias, Kupi, with the name no ponda vanhu. A lot of people disappeared because of them. Vachibuda vanenge vakatopuwa mazimari vanenge vasadza homwe nemari. Bozi vangona kupuwa kana ndakanzotsenanga maita ndaipuwa $80,000 a month. Ndiri chairperson weYouth. Hanzigadzirai maklipi tifambise kuma-WhatsApp kuwani vakawanda. Munokata-kata video yoyi kuti iende. Munoikata-kata. Anditi maona. So, at the end of this mabhunu, vachitenga ma4x4, vanhu vachidisappear muZimbabwe, vanhu vachiurawa vachipera. Mnangagwa anenge ari busy kunganidza vanhu vachipa ma-false promises. False promises. In actual fact, mari dziri kutaurwa muAljazeera ukanyatsodzifunga, Zimbabwe iri kubirwa about $17.5 billion every year. Nimbavha idzi. Tikutaura goridhe, tikutaura maminerals akasiyana lithium, mhuka chaidzo dziri kuenda kuChina. Matombo akubva kutoko kusara makoma apwanyiwa ari kuenda matombo. Goridhe riri kuenda, fodya iri kuenda. Ukada kutarisa how much Zimbabwe is losing to this syndicate or this gold mafia. Annually, Zimbabwe loses about 17.5 billion. Imagine for the past 20 years, Zimbabwe losing 17.5 billion annually. Imari yabuda muZimbabwe iri mumaoko aMnangagwa and friends. Because this started 20 years ago. Not 20 years ago, maybe from 1980. Now when Mnangagwa came to power, varakashi vese nevamwe vese maZANU-PF vakabva vati the situation is now ripe for corruption. And Mnangagwa, since he came to be president, he was abusing his power. Ndakambobvunza vanaponela ndikati, why is it Mnangagwa my friends ake ndana Java? Why? During Mugabe's era, wangosingaone nonsense dzakaita sana Java padhuze naPresident Mugabe. Mugabe set the highest bar of president's office. Mnangagwa came and lowered that bar. It's so sad. Kums, so the situation to them, Marakash and ZANU-PF, it became ripe for corruption. And Mnangagwa saw it as an opportunity to abuse power. This is why he's allowing smuggling and money laundering in our country. Our gold is always taken out of the country through the international airport. The security at the international airport pretends as if they haven't seen anything, whilst gold is let out of the country. They are evading paying tax. The monies of that gold should be going to Fidelity. It's not going there. Fidelity, Reserve Bank, it's bankrupt. Ma profita nenganga ku parliament. So our airport has become a leeway of all contrabands. Anything can pass through that airport without detection. Gold is going. Drugs are coming in. To my dear Java na Pagaipa. So I was asking myself that all manner of cargo and contrabands are passing through Harare International Airport with the blessings of the security manager. So looking at the global threats that are there of terrorism, aeroplanes being bombed, aeroplanes being hijacked, and a lot of things are being done worldwide. Gardens. How about smuggling a bomb? Because I can foresee risk of bombs being smuggled into the plane and most planes blown. Last time when I heard that British Airways wants to fly direct to Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF does not like British people. It doesn't like British government. Imagine with the lack of security at our airport, British airline flies direct to Harare and direct to UK. All obvious. ZANU-PF will plant a bomb in the British Airways. And the British Airways will be blown. Because no one searches. No one searches. If gold can pass, contrabands can pass, drugs can pass, bombs can pass as well. I don't advise the British Airways to fly to Zimbabwe. I don't advise them that. Until the situation improves. Not at this juncture. It's a shame that we have got an airport without security. Zvichikonzerwa nana Rudland. Rudland baba vake sezvokutaura kwandaita vanga vari Minister of Trade, Industry and Development from 1964 muRhodesian government. Ndiye munhu ari kunzi anzi tirikusi kutengesa nyika, munangagwa ari kudhila nemwana waMinista weRhodesia. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been here for almost 2 hours or so. I was talking about the gold mafia and the money laundering. I've clearly explained what money laundering is. I know people were a bit confused. What is laundering? What is this and that? Because if you look at gold, gold traders from sanctions, ZANU-PF or government can sell that gold at will. Because it's not on trade sanctions. And in more. Kare vanhu vaiziva nezvegold muZimbabwe. Gold harina kutanga kutengeswa nhasi. Gold rakagara richitengeswa richienda kuMiddle East. Raienda nekunonzi kuSwahili Coast kana kuti that was pre-colonial era, kusati kwaane colonialism, kusati kwaane nyika inonzi Zimbabwe. Africa yaingotengesa goridhe but raibuda nekunonzi kuGold Coast. Vanhu vari so acquainted with this glittering material, history gold muAfrica, by now I think vazhinji munoiunderstand. Takazviita kuprimary, takazvitrade, barter trade, chii zvaitaurwa kudhara, takazviita kunana primary, tikaenda kusecondary tikaverenga nezvegoridhe izvi. Andiona, tikataura nezvekutengeswa kwaitwa maslaves, takazvidzidza kuprimary kuti an ounce of gold varungu vaiuya votenga islave vototakura munhu voenda naye ma18th century. Munhu aitotengwa neounce of gold votoendwa naye. Vamuslave trade chaimo vanhu vaitengeswa negoridhe. So today if you look at the vast majority of world's gold rakatenderera pasi panapa rese raibva paSouth Africa. Ndosaka muchizwa vachiti gold rand what South Africa. South Africa was the major producer of gold in the world. Most of gold kutenderera pasi panapa rakabva paSouth Africa. Ndosaka maakona izvinezvi pane pakambonetsanetsa pakati ma19th 20th century zvakambonetsanetsa zvegold. Saka maakona 21st century people have moved away. Vanhu vakaita mari, nyika dzakaita mari. Ukanzwa mazimba achichema kuti hey, goridhe redu rakazara kuBritain, harisi renyu mega rere, igold rekuAfrica yese. Half of that gold was taken from South Africa, harisi reZimbabwe. ReZimbabwe makutoendesa ndimi kuBritain. Britain haichauyi kuzotora, ndimi akuendesa Dubai. Our natural resources are built in Dubai. Our gold is built in Dubai. Andimona. Aya anonzi ma-artisanal farmers aya, ma-miners aya, nema-small scale gold producers aya, ndiwo vaakuendesa goridhe kumabhunu. Mabhunu haachaizotora aiwa, makuendesa mega. Ndakambotaura mumu ndikati America today ikatora mazishipa anopinda vanhu 800 aya, ikatora ari 50 kuenda nawo muZimbabwe, anozara ese. Kana vakati cheni dzapera, vanhu vandoya nedzawo cheni vakazvisunga kuti aiwa tatoya takazvisunga toda maslaves kuAmerica. With the current situation in our country, people of Zimbabwe can volunteer to go and become slaves in any other country, American country, wherever. Americans vaimboya nepfuti vachitenga vachitiendesa. Hatichaendeswe manje, takuenda tega. We are enslaving ourselves in their countries. Anditi maona. So kada kutarisa zvandaimbotaura pakutanga, ndikati amota ma-artisanal mines or ma-small scale gold miners, these people are a source of environment degradation. They are posing health risks to the people of Zimbabwe. Ndichakuudzai, ndambenge ndichitaura as security manager, I can switch to talk as a forensic scientist. I need to talk about environmental degradation, to talk about health risks that are caused by the mining, small-scale mining, and some social ills. I'm not going to dwell on this topic, but it's for another day. I will come to speak as a forensic scientist. Tichone sana. Matombo aya munochera aya anofana kutestwa, bozi matombo anoburitsa gas riri health hazard. Gas rinoburitswa nematombo aya rinogona kukonzera cancer. Ndosaka uchiona ukaenda kuZimbabwe, ukaenda kucertain area, kune madiseases ari rife ikoko. Kuti madiseases ukaenda zvakaita kunge ukaenda kunana Mutoko, unogona kusvika kuona vanhu vese vane zvigoita. Kakugona kusvika unzwa kuti kunogona vazhinji vari kufa necancer. People ask themselves why so many people are dying of cancer in that area. It's because of the environment. Health-wise, goridhe rinopurifyiwa nemushonga. Pavanenge vakupurifya paya, vari kupurifya mushonga wacho uri kurasirwa kupi? Uri kuenda in our drinking water system. Mishonga leaches there, mixed with even bore water. Saka bore water cannot be safe. Rivers cannot be safe. Because of mercury. Kazhinji vanhu vanoshandisa gold vanoshandisa mercury. Pane mishonga mizhinji inoshandiswa paipai to purify gold. Nevanhu vaya. Mishonga yacho vanenge vachiirasira kuenda kupi. It's causing a health risks to the surrounding people. But Mnangagwa does not care. Utikaenda kuma social ills, a very good example in Kwekwe. Kune anonzi mashurugwi. Vanofamba nezimachets akadai. Vakakuona uchimaina ukangobata kagorodhi kakadai, machete kwamugutsi wotorerwa. Those are social ills which are being caused by artisanal mining. Ndanzwa tsitsi zvinzi artisanal mining is creating employment. But what type of employment without considering environmental issues, without considering health issues, without considering social ills? For a country, kunzi nyika ine security, these are important things. Because health issues, hatina zvipatara zvacho, hatina mishonga inopisa wana cancer vacho, kurwara kukurwa pasi, hapana kana anoatempta kurapawo. Anditi mono. So kuvarakashi, this is not within their reach. They lack this perception. They just see this artisanal mining as a source of income, just to supplement the meager agricultural incomes that they have. Mapurazi vakatora vanawo, avarime mapurazi macho, vakuita gold panning imomo. Anditi mono. Saka tine dambudziko sevana veZimbabwe. After all, they destroy our environment, they destroy our health, they introduce our social ills. Eventually, the gold is not benefiting the country. Rikunovaka Dubai, it's exported to Dubai. Maybe United Arab Emirates, this gold coming from Zimbabwe. And this is what the government should strictly monitor, because we need money for the government. They should put rules and norms of how our gold should be exported. Not every Jack and Jill carries gold, 6 kgs of gold in a bag. Adimagana chi World Cup chache, is 6 kgs of gold. Munananga katora chi World Cup akasambega achitiza kwenda unotengesa ku Dubai. Saka, in other words, Dubai, Al Jazeera documentary exposed Dubai as well, because it is playing a pivotal role in this money laundering, and is playing a pivotal role in smuggling gold from our country, and the gold mafia scandal is big. What we have seen that 𝗠𝗳𝗶 is just an iceberg of what is actually happening in our country. Money laundering is rife. Dai mari yaenda government. Chicha Taiwana. Government will allocate these resources to health, will allocate the resources to education, will allocate the resources to infrastructure development. 17.5 billion yearly. Ngada tisina namo emagetsi munyika medu. Vanenge vachema vachikudza kuti ma-sanctions. Where's the 17.5 billion yearly going to? And so there is grand theft of Zimbabwe gold, ladies and gentlemen. Ndikana machitaura ndikuona machema mabuda msodzi. Let me call it a day. Let me call it quits. Because chipo chacho kutaura Mwari vakatipa. Tetembe nemo kuti munzwisise. And ndimi munayo Zimbabwe youth. General zvakaoma. Wopuwo ching'ono. James Magoni. Oh my God. Andimona. Andichada kuramba ndichitaura. Ndingaona vanhu vakuchema panapa. Regai ndipedze tozosangana mangwana. Saka ndichiti ndikatadza kuuya kuzopa presentation. A lot of Zimbabweans cry. As mukoma Yuda, mune chipo chekuexplaina zvakanaka, people who end up understanding my situations akaoma. 𝗟𝗂𝗍𝗆𝗆 from Zambia. And it more. Ona diriwo rairo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, no garamudiriwo, diriwo rairo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, no garamudiriwo, vakomana, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, musatambe navo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, vakomana, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, musatambe navo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana. Chakachaya guys. Ndisandapedza. Ndikukumbirawo vanhu vari mu-UK, vanhu vari mu-United Kingdom. I know kuti we are starved of entertainment in this country. Takupinda musama, sama, and sama tatopinda ka. Tapinda musama munomu. Pane a lot of entertainment aligned for you guys. Vari mu-UK. Kuti vanhu musangana mumbofara, tatakavharirwa nechando chapera, saka takupinda musama kwatinongomburuka. Unononda kunobva kuja kumasi, unoita sei, but kune ma-entertainment which are aligned for you guys to enjoy. Ndakaona flyer randakaona. Pa flyer apa pana, ndakaona nge pana baba Harare. Ndakaona nge pana a lot of people. Regai ndiritsvage flyer racho. Tibatsirane ndisati ndaenda. Pane flyer riripo. Facebook yangu iri kupi ko. Ona diriwo ravakomana, diriwo rarembanje, vanogara mudiriwo, vakomana, vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vanogara mudiriwo, musatambe navo, vanogara mudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, garamudiriwo, diriwo rairo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, garamudiriwo, diriwo rairo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, garamudiriwo, vakomana, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, no garamudiriwo, musatambe navo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana, diriwo rarembanje, diriwo rairo, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo ravakomana, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, vakomana, vano garamudiriwo ram. Vano garamudiriwo ra, vano garamudiriwo, diriwo rarembanje, vano garamudiriwo, vakomana. Robva wanzwa kutapirirwa. Kanondiitira manje kaka. Saka ndiri kutsvaga. I'm looking for this flyer. I'm looking for this flyer. Sorry guys. Oda tinokwazisana waidza baba makadini zvenyu namweya muzvene. Ndutsvaga flyer handisi kuroona amendiraenda papi flyer. But anyway, let me talk about this flyer. Ndaona musician aripo who can entertain you zvine musoro. Ndaona pana 𝗚𝗎𝗆𝗆𝗆 Carolina mama boom ndiye wandaona ipapo. Vamwe ava ngatimbomirayi. Ndaboekana stereki I'm sorry kuma entertainers kana kuti kuvanhu vacho vagadzira flyer ravo vainvita Stana kuya kuUK. Stana kuya kuzoridza kuUK. I'm discouraging people to attend that show. A boss show yoyo. I will talk about it tomorrow, mangwana. Ndaona pana Stana. Honestly, munoenda unoona Stana. Stana anoimba chii? Chekuti unganosvika kupinda mubhawa kubheta kuridza dembo. Kana bheta kuridza Oliver Mtukudzi uri kumba kwako unwa doro rako rumba kwako. Pane kuenda kushow kunoona Stana. Andimona. Hazvina kundiitira mushe. Ini ndiri munhu mazuva anofarira kuenda kuma shows. Pane pandaona pakangonzi Stana, ndabva ndatokata kana handiende unoona Stana. Stana ndakanzwa achitaura kuti is better than President Nelson Chamisa. Ndakashaya kuti ari better than Nelson Chamisa pakudii. Ukatasa ndakaona imwe picture Stana akabvisa hembe, ane gwembe miri wake gwembe. Atoda dombo ningirikinini nevhimu inonzi vhimu mosanganisa vhimu dishwasher yayi mozoisa ngirini mokwesha nedombo kuti pamwe uda gwembe ringapera Stana. I don't see any reason of a Zimbabwean paying money to go and watch Stana. Dayanga awilo longombari ega ndaenda unoona ndaibvisa mari. But it's very unfortunate, guys. Kana wanga uchiplana kuenda kana uchiplana kutenga ticket, I don't think kuti ungaenda utenga ticket rekuona Stana. Nechisaga chemaorange. Yapanda nechisaga kana wire brush. Tora wire brush kwesha Stana kuti achene. Andimona. Andimuvenge mufana but ari reckless in talking. Kana reckless in talking anoataka president wedu kuti akamutadzira chii. President Nelson Chamisa kana kwanza wachitaura, he has never attacked anyone. Pese torai maspeech achamisa muisapo. Muterere ese bva pakatanga na president weMDCA kusvika nhasi. Haana kana musi wakatuka munhu president Chamisa. Panoona munhu akata sastana a musician anda kuzopromotwa nevanhu veCCC. Kuti vanhu veCCC tobhadhara mari tonomuona. Ingoregai vanhu vezano vaende vanomuona. Nemahure ake ari munomu vaende vanomuona. I don't think it's wise kuti munhu ari muno muUK unganobhadhara mari yako kunoona Stana. Kana muchida musicians we can arrange. We can arrange. Musicians anouya. Tinana mukoma ndara wedu ari apa America. Tikamuti nhasi mukanya uyai anouya. Tinana baba Ashero ana Machesu. Kamuti achimwene bwerani kuno vanouya. Tinana mfana Toki Vibes. Tikamuti huya toka anouya. Tineka mfana kekuimba mzala. Teli stonyeni mzala. Ndipe stonyeni mzala. Teli ndipe stonyimbi. Sweet. Kakati huya mfana kanoya kachimanya kaikai. Ndaona pana mfana anonzi Muridzo. Momutani endi Muridzo. Ndaona achiuya na Stana. Nemwe mfana uya mfana cheche ndaibochifarira kudhara chimpana chishinonzanichi Shinso. Ndaichifarira kudhara chimpana chishinso cheche. Pandangoona chakandwa pana Stana vanangoti zvadirwa jeche. Kana vanhu vangoida kuuya havachauyi. Mapromoters acho kana vachindinzwa bvisai Stana. Mukabvisa Stana tinouya. Asi kana Stana aripo, tough luck. You are wasting your money. People are not coming there. I'm not decampaigning you, but if you bring Stana here, you get 0. Let's go 007. Akasi ndoke kuimba Stone. Hanzi kuimba Magate. Hanzi kamningina ka Passion Java kaikai. Kakazonoroa, kakazondarotawo kansela kakarwa ma 007. 07. Hanzi mningina wa Passion Java. Ukuimba Stone ni mpano hanzi ndisekuru vatokere. Anoimba manje mpana uyo. Saka musicians varipo. Beta kutora mpana uda akapera noksa uya aimbe. Zviri nani pane kunza Stana. Andimona. Saka kana vachindinzwa promoters vacho ayo bvisai Stana. Kana muda kuti vanhu vauye bvisai Stana. Boza tikafambira awilo longomba anongoyauridza kana kuti 2 minutes. Stana ukwira pa stage toterera Stana. I'm not coming there. And I discourage CCC people from going there. Signal. Thanks Ngoma Nelson. Signal. Mzala, ndipe stonyeni. Mzala, ndipe stonyimbi. Mzala, ndipe stonyimbi. Ndipe stonyeni. Sweetie. Shingamuro. Wakauya wega kuzogara pano. As you can even promote young men. Exactly. We can bring Mpana anoimba manjo young. Anoimba mpana uya. We can promote that one. Anogona kuya wanakanakiro. Kana kutora mkoma wedu po madzore. Atinototapirirwa kusvika meno. Amukatiunzire stana. Stana angaimbirana po madzore. Kana nemupana kakusmeno ya. Saka kana muchida kuti vanhu vauye kushow yenyu. Besides stana. Anzi trick just ignore the knocks are already here. Exactly. Oh yo. I like just signal. Pana anoimba uya. And the knocks mpana odakapera but akamboti entertain. Anoimba mpana knocks. Ndo vanhu vatingatobhadhare mari kunoona vana Sulumani Chimbetu. Sulu akauya noenda ichimhanya kunoona. Hatikainoona stana. That's mockery. That's mocking our conscience. Abva hapo unotuka president wedu we-CCC. And more. Talking and I was talking motara mpana talking nainzwa nganifonere mangwana. Ngato buruga uyazomuona ngatifonere mangwana toki ane namba dzangu andiri mona just signal toki ava tunoona nanoksa watunoona mpana wangu noksa akapera but akaimba ma old songs akanozadza whole ega mpana uya ndomufarira manje andiri mona endozvati mumufarira futi just signal mumufarira futi Toki manja is the darling of the crowd. Pakanofamba pese Toki Zombe huru yakabva mugurerwa wani. Chochitsidzo chandakaita ini namai. Toki pazvinenge zvanaka usandikanganwe. Toki amai. Unozwa musodzi kuuya sompana. Keep it up Toki. Keep it up young man. But uyostana uyu. Komsaendo. Chishoja nichatasa date racho kuti ndichikuitwa rini. Don't go there. Don't go there. Cheyuda shaibu noro boni bwanje achimweni sekuru muright as mgoma yuda promote Kaxman. His page was hacked and he is looking for 400 to recover his page. Alright, $400. I don't think it's much, guys. Regaindi taure na mangwana. Kana ane namba dzangu ngandifonere mangwana to raise mari yacho. To raise. Toita 10. Panongodo vanhu vanganapa. Pandiwa vanhu pa $400 to recover page rempano. Pando vanhu vangani. Tikada 10 pounds. 340. To raise 400. Saka tinopfura 40 vanhu vari muuk ndingobata macontacts ndine vanhu vandoziva vamwe vacho ndakutotya kuapproach tikataura kuti ngatitema 10 tinoita inokwana ngandibate mangwana kana kuya kuinbox kwangu tonzwa totangira papi ndotangira poi nyararai zvenyu samanyanga ingandimi mhuka hurwani ndotangira poi. Good night. Andikapedze guys. Imi munoramba muningounza zvimwe zvinhu. Atende chari. Munoramba muningodira. We help to contribute because he announced living politics. Here is his new page Kaxman. Ngandibate mangwana. Mangwana togona kuswera tatoireza mangwana. Anditi. Saka ngandibate mangwana. Indinongotaurawo nemacontacts angu. Ndongotasapalisire vanhu vandinawo. Vakwana 40 ndomhanya kuma inbox ndonochema tobva tatomisira mari yacho recover page racho asave reckless nemapage aya edu aya akambozama kuyekwa but mapassword edu ngavabata password rako akabata ndokuti ya boss ndokuisira password rimwe rine 50 man ngiri ndichienda macharacters chat nadzamai vangu hanzvadzi yangu sisi tetechi panozosvika pakuzopera kuti password anoti I will call him tomorrow to conduct let him conduct me to raise mari yacho timubatsira recover page. Saka ndoti good night guys. Ngaramba nchitaura ndoziva kuti hamudi kundisiya kuti nditaure naye ngataure mangwana. Good night. Morara zvakanaka. Good morning.